Hello everybody and welcome to another community fortress. This is the fortress of Metalrecluse of the Grey Handle, submitted by a friend of mine named Belannaer, who actually streamed this entire fortress on Twitch. More about that at the end of the video. But for right now, what we're going to do is we're going to run through this fortress. However, I'm just going to kind of preface this entire fortress with, he kind of got a little bit greedy and dug a little bit deep. And so there's kind of spoilers over this entire video. So if you haven't ended up accidentally digging too deeply and too greedily yet, trust me, you'll know if you have. You might want to avert your eyes during portions of this recording. We're also going to be showing a couple screenshots of this fortress running in Stone Sense at the end of the video, which is a utility which allows you to see the fortress in a isometric format. It runs through DF Hack. I'm not a huge fan of it myself, but the audience really likes it, so I'm doing my best to include it at least a little bit in these videos. That'll be after the credits at the end of the video. Let's dive in. So, this fortress of Metalrecluse, of the site government known as the Grey Handle and the Bright Dagger, built this grand fortress on the side of a large mountain. Now, I just want to talk about this kind of entrance area first real quick. It's this kind of multi-pronged entryway where you can walk directly into the, kind of trade depot, and that's happening over there. Or you can simply walk up this ramp and onto the top of this ramp through this kind of multi-pronged, we can just drop you straight down into here area, which is odd to me. That's not how I would build a defense, but I mean, you do you. I do really like these statues of dragons on either side. Then there's these little cage traps here and then the front doorway, at which point then, you'd be greeted by the various guard post rooms. Up here we have some offices. This is a little dining hall, which does claim to be overlapping because it's overlapping on these walls. They don't like doing that, but it's not going to hurt your value all that much. But for certain zones, it will hurt a little bit. So we have dining hall, office, and then another office. Just up and above this, we have this dining hall, this much bigger dining hall with these lovely little windows and a friendly zombie who's just living here, I suppose. And then up on this top side, we have the Palm of Trade, which is a little tavern, which looks quite lovely. Then we have this kind of workshop area. And I just want to real quick shout out these hematite block floors. I haven't actually messed around much with the things like hematite and whatnot as use for materials, just because I find that they're too valuable. I'm going to use those for, making, weapons or whatever. But I guess if you just have a big enough surplus, you can start making walls out of lead and then hematite block floors, and they do look really nice. I do gotta say it. So let's go down to kind of the main entryway here and just kind of talk about this calamity here. This is what appears to be a white fiend, the Maze of Lies. If we take a real quick look at it, if I check over here through the health screen, the description of it is a great tarantula composed of salt. It has large mandibles and a bloated body. Beware its poisonous bite. That is mean. That is a mean creature. We have a few areas here, and then of course the permanent bedrooms for when you never wake up. And then if we move up ever so slightly, we can see that there is another big old creature here, which is a Embers demon, which of course is, an enormous python composed of ash. It has a broad shell and it undulates rhythmically. Beware its deadly spittle. So I did watch a good deal of Belannaer streaming this fortress, and I know that they had a lot of necromancy going on in the fort and various other fun events, so we're going to do our best to see if we can find such things as well. Very frame rate heavy staircase. If this is a heavily trafficked staircase, this would impact a lot. I would recommend using kind of the star pattern you might see in some of my other videos, where you simply block this tile, where you simply block this tile, and this tile with pillars so the dwarves can't see each other while they're going up and down the stairs. But if it's not super heavily trafficked, it's not going to hurt all that bad, but just kind of keep that in mind. If we move up a layer, you'll notice that this kind of entryway is actually a very high ceiling, and then on top of it up here is a small office, currently dedicated to nobody, so probably somebody that died, but this is a office that actually has glass floors to see down in there. I hope whoever manages in this office doesn't wear a skirt, because that might be a problem. Or at the very least, I hope they have a loincloth. Over here, we have a bedroom, which is also vacant currently alongside of this dining hall. It is also worth noting that this fortress is the capital, so it is not quite a mountain home, but it is, in fact, a capital, which is getting up there in the dwarven rankings. Then we have the bedroom blocks, which are very well appointed. They have individual windows, as well as bedrooms and cabinets, and some of them even have chests as well. Some of them are missing the chests and cabinets, and that's why you see clothing scattered about in these kinds of areas over here. But overall, very nice looking bedroom setup. Now, if we move down a layer, you can see this kind of thing right here, just for some storage, as well as some more storage over here with many, many bodies everywhere, because that's what happens when you dig too deep. And then as we move down through here, you'll just see kind of more storage, and then eventually we'll collide with this layer where we've already seen some chaos going on. And then, of course, these very, 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 very deep wells that go all the way down to the cavern layers, which are kind of brave, if you were to ask me, but definitely a valid option. And then there's this little interesting bridge thing, which goes from up here. I'm assuming that this is the, like, we don't want you to live anymore in this fortress zone. So, oh, I see. It's a garbage dump. So they can drop everything down here and then smash stuff down at the bottom. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I was assuming it was a people dump, not a garbage dump. But we can follow this staircase down as it goes through multiple layers, and then down here we have this pretty cool power structure, which I'm quite a big fan of. If I unpaused the game for a second and 2 people died, so gotta be careful there. As you can see right here, there are these like sets of 3 water wheels, which are flowing down this way and then out into the caverns. Personally, I would have just gone straight off the side of the map, as it would be better for frames, but obviously, when you only have so many options, you go with what you have, right? So I'm not sure exactly where this water is flowing to, or where the water is coming from, which is a little bit perplexing to me. Like, looking at it, like, it looks like the water is flowing in from this side, but then there's nowhere for it to go. So now I'm just confused, because I thought I understood how this worked. I was under the impression that it was simply flowing off or down this way or something, but it appears to not be the case, so now I'm confused. Anyway, we do have 3 demons sitting right here, and then this is the place that gets a little bit fun from what I can tell. Because, well, okay, no, not that particular place, but down here in there it is, right here. So this is the area that gets a little bit fun. So there's this kind of hole in the side of the adamantine here, and as you can see, it actually goes up quite a bit of ways, all the way up to here. But then, because they were just channeling around and digging, they dug into the side of the adamantine right here, and then it opened up this little fun straw all the way down into the Slade Hell. So this area actually is the same size as the normal map, and is occupied with Hellspawn. Anything that falls into these weird pits, they actually used to be kind of eerie glowing pits. They used to be kind of a red color in the older game, and used to be represented with, well, here, I could just show you. They used to just look like this, right? So these eerie glowing pits down in Hell. I actually think I like the color palette of ASCII Hell more than the color palette of non-ASCII Hell. I think that it's more kind of, what's the word? Ominous? Darker? It feels weirdly light in here. I wish that the Slade was like closer to obsidian in color, but my nitpicking aside, there's a window into Hell, and then anything that can fly or can climb or jump effectively just comes flying out of this hole and floods into your fortress, which it very much did, and because my friend Bell didn't have a easy way of blocking it, they then spread out and came flying into the fortress. I mean, look at this thing right here, this Flare Phantom, which currently obviously is a blob composed of flame. It has a spiral shell, and it squirms and fidgets. Beware its poisonous gas. Very scary, very scary. And then they have just, like, the direct line into the fort right here, which means that this fort's gonna have a hard time. Although, I think you could have maybe locked this floor hatch here, but, I mean, they're already in the fortress, so that's kind of just kind of a no-go at that point. Although, admittedly, this door is locked, but maybe that's just to keep these few characters down here alive, but there's already things in the fortress, so I'm not entirely sure what order things happened in. But yeah, that is the fortress capital of Metalrecluse. So if we fly around a little bit more, I think my favorite kind of thing about this fortress actually is just this kind of entryway. I think this entryway is grand as all hell and looks awesome. Little farming area up at the top once again, and forges down here. I think that there's certain things I would have done very differently with this fortress. I would have probably tried to implement some sort of lava smelting. I know that they ran into some pretty serious troubles with this entryway getting covered in zombies at one point, and some mean towers close by, and then obviously while they were trying to get better weapons, dug too deeply. But good fun in that regard. Of course, over here is the hospital, which is currently flooded by these ash devils, which are kind of cute looking as far as I'm concerned, but are a very large quadruped composed of ash, and they have a round shell, and they squirm and fidget. He is mighty and slow to tire, so that's one hell of a thing right there. And yeah, overall, lovely little fortress by Belannaer. If you want to watch Belannaer stream Dwarf Fortress and other video games on the internet, I'll attach his links down in the description of this video, just like I've done for my friends in the past, such as 2D Curie and Blood Jess, and also a link to his YouTube channel where you can actually watch VODs of this particular fortress. I think those have started going up now, so I will link all that down below. Now, before I do kind of the normal outro credits, I just want to say that I recently opened up a merch store, as in this morning. So if you would like to purchase some Dwarfy merchandise that supports me directly, it ships worldwide and accepts most payment methods. I have a t-shirt, a vile mug of darkness, and stickers of some of my emotes. So if you would like to go check that out, links down in the description. Blind IRL, and it's a fourth wall sales site. So with all the perks that come along with that, you'll see more once you get in there. It's literally just like a little website dedicated to me where you can buy some t-shirts and stuff. So patrons are on the screen right now, and in a moment you'll see some shots from Stone Sense. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.